Hey, 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 hey. Look, it's your girl, Pastor Angela Johnson. Of course, we are one sister to another with a show with information, inspiration, and godly revelation heard right here live on all of your social media outlets, all your social media platforms. We're here today. God has been good. He's been amazing. And we're here today. And if you all give me just a minute, we're going to introduce our guest. But I want to make sure that you all know you need to like and share. Go out there on my Facebook page, One Sister to Another, at facebook.com. Of course, I'm Angela Johnson, parenthesis Angela Smith, okay? One Sister to Another at facebook.com, Angela L. Johnson at facebook.com. Go out there and, of course, like the page, share the page, tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell somebody that One Sister to Another. Come on. Podcast is on. Of course, One Sister to Another at Instagram.com. You can go ahead and share us from there, or make sure you share the link. Also, if you need us for anything, you need us after the show, you want to book us to come and host your event, all you got to do is go to OneSister2Another@gmail.com. But I want to make sure that you all are liking and that you're sharing the show today, because the show is going to be hot. Somebody say hot. Why is it hot? Because at the end of the day, we all ought to be minding our own business. The theme for the month has been minding your own business. Okay, so go out there, like, share. What do I want you to do? I need you to subscribe to the Avant Music YouTube page. Go ahead and subscribe to the Avant YouTube page, and you'll be alerted when we come on. Enough of all that, because guess what? Minding your own business, we can't do it without making sure that our money is tight and that our burial is going to be right. That just came out of my shondo. I say we can't mind our own business but without making sure that our money is tight. And when our families have to bury us, it's going to be right. So keeping that in mind, can you all help us to welcome, of course, our finance guru who's going to be talking to us today to try to he's going to try to help us get right and stop getting left. Of course, we've got Brian Small, who is in the house right now. Brian, will you say hey to our guests? And of course, we're going to, come back to you and talk to you a little bit more about what you've been doing. Okay.
Hey, I'm super excited to be on, super excited to share. Let's let's share. Let's get as many people on that can get this information, because we want to enlighten you today. Let's go.
Oh man, this is going to be absolutely great. And I came in the room today, y'all, in the studio telling Brian, man, I love your energy. And I've never met you one-on-one, but I love your energy. Love it. Listen, also, we got covered up. Look, she was out here with us last week while we were in SIU with those 100 students who are learning how to fly, because we know why they fly. We were with American Airlines, of course. But my girl, Vanessa Brown Dukes, has been doing this American Family Insurance thing for a while. And she's going to, of course, help us to move forward in making sure that we're planning things. After Brian shows us how to get the money and hold on to the money, Vanessa Brown Dukes going to show us and make sure folk know, if you are a grown person or if you just a baby, you ought to have some life insurance. So we all help us welcome back to the platform today, none other than Vanessa Brown Dukes, American Family Insurance. Minding your own business through your life insurance. You got to do it that way. Say hey, Miss Vanessa. Say hey to the folk, Vanessa.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing? Glad to be here.
Beautiful. Mic up, a little bit. So listen, we're gonna get this thing, cracking, because for me, it is very, very important to make sure that folks are getting as much information as they can. And so that's what we're on today. Minding your own business as it pertains to finance, as it pertains to insurance, life insurance, what types of insurance. But Brian, I want to ask you really quick. Can I do this real quick? Can I get some shouts out in the room real quick? Ashley Jefferson, hey, Lady Reborn, we love you. Ashley, I already say, of course, we've got our engineer who is in the background taking care of business, Big J, and also our executive producer, none other than my baby Tamara. Y'all are it for me. Jakari and also Trey. Also, let me tell you all this. Maite couldn't be with us today. Brian, you guys, she told me to make sure I give her love, but she's having to be away to, of course, share with families who have lost this weekend and also next weekend. Okay. Let me give a shout out to Terry Waters, Fred M. George, Fox Coffee is in the room. Y'all know who that is, right? My sister LaJoyce. Okay. She is in the room. David Jeffries is in the room. Patricia Marvin Holmes is in the room. Haneen Cherry is in the room. Princess Danzy Marvin Holmes, of course, is in the room. So, hey to all of you all. And before he gets on, hey to my friend who is in Mesa, of course, Arizona today, coaching and refereeing. But look, we want to give our folks as much information as we can today, Brian. So, I want to ask the question, okay?
Okay.
Question, Brian. Brian, is cash still king? I was getting ready to say, is cash still the cow? But yeah, it's apply the cow too. But is cash still king?
Cash is still king, in my opinion. I love credit, though, and I think credit is the catalyst to cash, right? So credit is a way to get us in position to get cash. So cash is still king. Either way you do it or however you go about doing it, cash is king. Cash, in my opinion, creates opportunity. Cash opens the door just like credit does. So
you know what I love that answer. I love that answer. So I want to so that kind of leads us to the segue of what I want to ask next, which is this, Brian. Do you believe, would you consider yourself to be more of a credit guy or a finance guy? And if whichever one you name, right? And you may say I'm both, right? I want you to share with us today on this platform, what's the difference? Credit, finance. What's the difference?
I was going to ask you, what's your definition of finance? Because what's your definition of finance? Because each of us have our own ideology around what finance is, right? For me, I consider myself a credit guy because I do business credit and I do personal credit. And I see business credit and personal credit as a way to finance your dreams. So it just depends on which way you want to take it. But I think credit is the way to get us in positions and open doors for us to be able to, like I said, fund our dreams, whether that's if you have a business or you don't, or if you're looking to get your dream car, dream home. It just depends on how you want to do it, but you finance it through credit. So I think they go hand in hand, Pastor. And credit is is what I teach. I think coming up in the urban community, we wasn't taught credit. So I don't know about you, but I had to learn on accident. And what I learned, I had to bump my head in order to get it. But once I got it, and you learn how to utilize it, it really can be everything you need and want to desire when it comes to creating opportunities.
I love your answer. I love your answer. But you do know, when we were growing up, myself, Vanessa Brown, all of us pretty much grew up in the city of Chicago. You do know that they pretty much insulted us about even thinking about tapping into credit. Let me do something real quick. Brian, I'm going to have you both to do this. I want you to go back. I want to go back to Brian. Brian, I want you to share with us who you are and how you got started, and maybe share something with us that maybe other folks don't know. Talk to us a little bit about your humble beginnings. And of course, we're going to go to Vanessa Brown Dukes and do the same. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, God bless you. So actually how I ended up with in credit was traditionally my background is retail. So I did retail for a very, very long time. And an opportunity came for me to be a mortgage loan officer. And I took the opportunity because it was something from retail and I wanted to do something different and intriguing and enlightening. So I took on this position, and it really taught me credit, and to see credit in a different mindset and different perspective. Like, mind you, I was already adult. I was already living on my own, but I really didn't have a grasp of credit until I started trying to help lenders get refinanced, trying to help lenders understand their credit, or even more importantly, saying, I can't help you because of your credit, right? And so from that standpoint, it really, for me, I took it on the heart, really getting the understanding of how it works in order to help more people. And from that, so I did that for about 3 years as a mortgage loan officer. I was blessed. At first, I thought it was bad, but I was blessed enough to get urban community. So my boss actually gave me an Inglewood community when I was starting out. So that was my area to call on to like sell to. But for me, it was great because I was helping my people to understand credit and getting them in better situations. Fast forward. I was a branch manager for Chase for 7 years, almost 7 years as a branch manager for Chase, so a vice president for them. And where my branch was, it was downtown Chicago, and it was placed in the area right next to a high-rise office building, and then in a community that was a very affluent community downtown. So I was able there to get a good understanding of blue collar every day. I'm living check to check, and then I also got to see white collar where I understand credit, I leverage credit, and this is how it works. So from there, it really put me in a position where I walked away from Chase and started my own consulting business for small business owners. And credit is the platform that I've been able to help a number of business owners get access to money, get access to capital, grow and sustain their business. So that's my bio in a nutshell. A little known fact about me: I just relocated to Texas and just started an executive pastor position here. So it's extremely happy to be a kingdom entrepreneur, but more importantly, helping other believers understand, how important cash or credit is and how you can leverage it to really have a different life.
So what's been I'm gonna come back to you, Vanessa. So what's been so you're an executive pastor in Texas now.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you going to take what we know? And I don't know if you necessarily call yourself an expert in the finance field, right? But I've heard so many amazing good things about what it is you do. How you gonna take that and implement right there in Texas at the church? Because you're the executive pastor, which means to me, you're going to carry a little bit of power in that position, in that role, right? Do they know who you really are?
Praise the Lord. Yes, ma'am. Praise the Lord. The senior pastor, Pastor Tommy Wilborn, appointed me for the position, and it's just based on my history. Literally, everything I've done up to this point has prepared me for this opportunity. So I'm extremely happy and excited to be in this position. But everything God has given me from a structural standpoint and managing other people's businesses and/or my hands-on training now literally goes hand in hand what I'm doing for the kingdom at this church. So I'm super excited to apply everything I know. He's given me the ability to take everything and run with it. So I'm super excited. And yes, ma'am, he does know who he has in me.
I'm loving that. Come on, yes. Vanessa Brown Dukes. Can you just introduce yourself for us real quick and tell us who you are and maybe tell us something that people don't know about you. And then tell us, Vanessa, how do you take what you're doing and implement it in your day-to-day at church? Because I know where you're from and where you at.
Well, I'm excited to be back with you all this week. And I love what I do. Like I said, my husband and I, we started our insurance agency back in '97. So we've been at this for like 26 years now. And when he passed away, my daughter's house in Arizona, so I'm in the little bedroom here trying to do this. But
that's okay. Just stay centrally located. So we can, Go ahead. Keep going.
Is that okay?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
So we started our American Family Insurance Agency, right in our living room, actually. And, we just began to create a client base. And now we have a client base of close to 3,000 clients. And so we offer all lines of insurance: home, auto, life, commercial, different things like that, property insurance and things like that. So we've been able to bless a lot of people on different, in different areas, on different levels and things like that. And so as an extra, I do like seminars and teachings. I also teach at Pastor Bill Winston's School of Business, Joseph Business School. I teach there the insurance, commercial insurance for all of the people that's starting their own businesses and kind of admonishing them to get them a liability insurance. We call it GL, general liability insurance, for their businesses. I don't care if you're doing hair in the home, you need a general liability policy to cover your so many potential lawsuits and things like that. So, on the weekends, some pastors will call us in to just do a presentation. After they minister, they may say take 10 or 15 minutes and just kind of share with the parishioners what is the importance of life insurance. What is the importance of insurance? People think when they have an apartment, oh, I don't need insurance because I don't own the home. No, that's not true. You need a renter's insurance. If that entire building catches a fire, the landlord is not going to replace your stuff. Landlord is not going to replace your furniture. Landlord is not going to replace all your clothing. So you should get a renter's insurance for as low as $10, $12, $15 a month. It will cover all of your clothing, all of your furniture. And a lot of our cousins, I'll just say, don't know these things. And these are the things we go in to educate the people as to what they need. For many years, there's been this myth that insurance is expensive. Insurance is not expensive. You got some shysters out there that will try to take all your money for the little items that they give you. But insurance, that's a big myth. And that's what we go into the places, into the community centers, into the schools, in fact, to tell families and churches and things like that, to tell families that insurance is needed, it's very necessary, and it's very affordable. It's cheaper than those
this though too. Tell us this though too. I'm going to come back because I got a hot question for you, Vanessa. Tell me something though. So what I was going to say is that so minding our own business. It of course details a lot, but minding my own business means I have the right kind of insurance, whether it's renters, whatever. I need the right insurance. Watch this, Brian. Brian, I'm gonna put you back in the hot seat. Brian, I'm one of these people who I don't do anything orthodox. Pretty much anybody who knows me knows that I don't. Tell me this, Brian. I want to end the show today, and then I want to begin. I want you to tell me what you can share with us on this platform today about our finances as it pertains to credit. But I want you to give us some good juice about it. I want you to give me a good reason to stop what I'm doing, living raggedy, and just look, share my credit cards all over the place, because you do know some of us, because we got a gold card, we think we're supposed to flip it, right? What I really want you to take us to today, Brian, is I want you to share with us, there's a difference. Fixing my credit is one thing, but educating, helping to change mindsets on credit is another. I want you to tell us exactly what that means. I want you to act like you now have to share with us, and we're going to need this information for the rest of our lives, because you're not going to be able to talk to us no more.
Okay. Well, I would, I just take you exactly. Say it again.
Take your time.
Okay, God bless you. Yeah, so for me, I literally start with education, because I think the word tells us people perish without vision. So without clarity and understanding as well, it hurts. And then the other thing is be transformed by renewing of your mind. So along with that, the education piece is where I start. So the very first thing I do is I'll pull your credit and we'll review your credit. And I'll help you to understand what's going on with your credit, what has happened, and then what we can do to put you in a better situation. What I've been doing most recently is working with a lot of fathers or head of households to really understand that they lead the charge, so to speak, right? So for me, as a dad, I look at my kids' credit, I understand their credit, and I give them a plan and a platform. So as a head of a household, I think it's very important and pivotal not only to fix yours, but to fix everyone else around you, right? And I don't think we do that enough, but that's where my education has come and been more beneficial. And I'm sure you can understand this as well. Sister Dukes is sometimes we get one person in the family, but we need to, cover the entire family. Am I right? Right. So I use that same format and formula with families, right? We need to fix the entire family. So I educate whoever the head is, but then I also go through and I'll do a session with every last member of that family. So right now, I'll give you a great example. I have a family of four, a dad, a wife, and they have a business partner, which is like their daughter, and then they have a son. And I fixed the dad's credit. The dad has A1 credit now. Mom credit, we're one collection away from A1 credit for her. The son's credit, thanks be to the Lord, the dad had enough knowledge and understanding to start prepping the son's credit. So he's 23, getting ready to graduate college, and is going to come out of college with a perfect credit score, right? So if there's something I could teach parents right now, even if you had kids growing up or you have adult kids and you never taught them credit, is to look at the credit, get the literacy, and then collectively as a family, let's fix that, okay? Credit opens the doors to opportunities, right? So let me go back to this family, right? We have 4 people in this family, 4 with perfect credit. What I told dad to do was now, instead of us, I'm sure everybody, if you married or have a family, right, we have that bank account that we use to pay bills out of. So you get your payroll check, the money going to the account that you pay the bills out of. So I'm teaching this formula called the family bank. And what it does is put us in position now to everybody in the family, every bill, everything that we have a business account for the family. So in my case, it's called a small empire, right? And that's a business now that we have as a family. We pay all the bills through there. Now you probably like, why would you do that? Why would you create a business for the family? It's because business credit allows us to get bigger balances and bigger money, and it has a different pay scale, right? So God has given us the ability.
Preaching, Brian.
Oh, come on. God is good. And I pray that the Holy Spirit would take over this call and give us everything we needed. So if you just allow me to allow him to use me, I'm gonna say everything I can.
Let him use you. Yeah.
And so if we have 4 people in a family, and God has given us every last one of us a gift. And one of our prayers as a dad was that God give me the opportunity to put me in position to be able to help finance my kids' dreams, right? And so dreams come from their gifting, whatever they're great at, whatever they're good at. And so with this father I'm talking about right now, I'm able to help him and his family. They already have a real estate business, right? And so with the real estate business comes financing. So he right now, actually, we're taking him through a funding cycle right now. He right now is qualified for close to $200,000 in credit and funding, right? And so in the real estate arena and with the state of the marketplace, unfortunately, they consider us to be in a recession. We know everything is up and wages are still the same, that you need money to acquire in a down market. So right now, we have dad that right now just doing one funding source, one cycle, he's already at $200,000. Now understand this, right? We have the mom, we have the daughter, and we have the son all on that same business, all A1 credit. So that's $200, $400, $600, $800,000, right? That now we have that we can put towards the real estate business. And dad now is going to not only give the son the keys to understanding how this empire works, but now they have sourcing to buy or do anything that they want. So I take us from the mindset of understanding personal credit is great, but personal credit opens the doors for us to get business credit that's going to give us real capital to do bigger things, right? And so if I can leave you with something today, is immediately fix your personal credit, whatever it takes, invest in it, pay for it, understand it, whatever you got to do, fix your personal credit, because it literally opens the door for you to fund all your dreams, right? And I worked the traditional 9-to-5 all my life. At 40 years old, I'm 46 today. At 40 years old, I took a leap of faith and jumped out and started my own business. And it's been hustle for everything. But this formula, it works. It works in any family, any format. It works, and it continue to work if you work it.
Whoa! Now look, now that'll preach too. It'll work if you work it, but it all's gonna take some work. Yes. Brian, I'm telling you, the doggone, we ought to have a whole month set aside with nothing but Brian talking to us about getting it. Look, not getting in and fitting in either. You need to stay in. Come on here. Okay, so Vanessa, once I got my money straight, once I've got my credit tight through Brian, I need to turn around and not be sloppy. See, you can't tell me you a businessman or a businesswoman or a business kid, and you don't have no doggone insurance, or you don't have the right insurance. So if something happens, now your family is gone. They don't care about your wonderful life you've lived and about you've gotten all your you've gotten all these different ways of doing things from Brian, right? And your finance portfolio is good. But now you don't. I know a lot of people like this. They got the money, driving the best car, riding in, look, got the best suits on and shoes.
Looking
but
good.
They don't have no life insurance.
Yeah, right, looking good.
So talk to us a little bit, Vanessa, about how to make it all gel. How would you show up in the boardroom with a Brian and say, Brian, my black people and other cultures need us to band arms.
Yes.
How do we show up and make sure people know what to do next as it pertains to minding their own business with life insurance, the right insurance?
Okay, let me start by saying I really appreciate what Brian is bringing to the community, because that's where it all starts with the insurance. Do you not know about 10 years ago, the insurance industry made credit a requirement now to get your insurance? And when they did that, things changed tremendously. Now, not for life insurance, but for your home and your auto. It's amazing how one of your neighbors could pay a certain amount for that home insurance and yours is double. Because if that credit is bad, then your insurance rate is going to be affected negatively. Now, why? If you say, well, what does insurance have to do with my? I mean, what does credit have to do with my insurance? Because it's been everything, right? Because it's been recorded and it's been proven that a lot of times people will make a claim just because they don't have money. So that's where that credit rating is very important to obtain your insurance and get the optimal rates. Is by having that good credit. So I appreciate what you're talking about with this insurance. Now with credit as well, with the credit, and I just wanted to show you how it is linked to insurance. Amazing. But let me share about people go and they start with this first thing. Oh, I got insurance on my job. Okay, insurance on your job is some insurance that you do not own. When you leave that company, you no longer own that. It's only maybe about 5 to 10% of companies that will allow you to take the insurance with you once you leave that job. But I talked to a lady. She was 65 years old. She said, my company gave me a payout and told me to go ahead and leave. But I didn't realize I did not have insurance once I left. So she had to start a new policy at 65 years old. How many know how expensive that's going to be, right? So we encourage people at young ages to get insurance. And we start with the families. And the word of God says, a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. Not just his children's children. There's a legacy. There's a history. You know that it goes down into your family, the root of your family. So you're taking care of your family. And so I hate to hear people say stuff like, and a lot of I hate to say it, but a lot of our men want to say stuff like, I'm not leaving her no policy for her to take care of some other man. I said, how about this? How about you leave her a policy so she don't need another man? Okay. And then they said, never thought about that. So you have to make people think. Nobody's trying to put a price tag on your life by getting a policy on you so that they can live better. No, you don't want them to have to cry twice. Cry because you're gone and then cry because you're broke. Okay. So you don't want to leave your families crying twice. You got this fabulous car, you got this beautiful home, and then if something happens to you, it's crazy. Life now is the most unpredictable thing. My girlfriend called me 2 days ago, you all. She's in her mid-50s, and she said, girl, I just had a heart attack. I said, are you serious? You know, went to school with the young lady, and beautiful, nice fit and everything, never been sick a day in her life. You had a what? A heart attack. What happened? You know what she said? Stress. She said, my daughter has been getting on my nerves and it really stressed me out. And those kinds of things are the reasons we need to have our business in order. Now, this particular lady has her business in order, but she called me to ensure all the rest of the family members, her niece and nephew, everybody, because she said that really woke her up. So we talk about getting insurance on our family members. And I talked last week about the entire family, just like Brian talked about the entire family, the father, the mother, all of those young adults. You know, we may have kids that are 19, 20, 25 years old. Each one of them needs their own policy. I have another lady who the insurance company insured her husband, but insured her as a rider. You're two different people. You don't ride on nobody because guess what? Her husband died. Now she does not have insurance. You hear me? If you get insurance, a husband and a wife needs their own separate policy. What if it happened to split up? You have a policy, he has a policy. Don't ever have a policy where somebody is riding on it, nobody but those children. That's the only person needs to, except if you have a business, like he mentioned the business, you can have a business policy. The chief person can have a policy, and they can have business partners to ride on that policy. There's nothing wrong with that. But there still needs to be that separate life insurance policy. That would be for your business purposes. And last week we talked about the business key policies, where if you own a business, every key person of that business needs to have a separate policy as it pertains to the success and sustaining that business. God forbid, should you sustain a loss, you want to have enough time and finances to get through that business period while you should secure another business key person.
So your credit, your finance, minding my own business, the theme of the month, One Sister to Another, is really about making sure that you have things decent. And you know, we used to hear that scripture quoted a lot in church, right? And all we did was I pretty much said, I wish they would just stop saying that. But honestly, when I start seeing how many pastors were leaving here, Brian, how many folks, how about this? How many churches have had to put padlocks on the doors? No one, they would not allow a Brian to come in the room, sit down with our young people, the years of influence, and say to them, listen, look, having my finances together is not just about making a lot of money, because I make good money, but if my credit is jacked up, come on here, I'm jacked up, the church gonna be jacked up. I need y'all to do two things really, really quick. And then Brian, I got something I want to ask you. Brian, can you share how can people get in touch with you? We're gonna do a station identification break real quick, and then we'll do it again at the end. But how can people get in touch with you, Brian, to do two things? Okay, y'all, all of this information is right up here on the screen. If you all will look, it's right here on the screen. Brian, can you share an email or phone number where people can call you and say, hey, Brian, I need you to come do our men's fellowship. We're going to give you whatever you want by way of finances or whatever, but come on and talk to our men, because we know those are the beginnings. Come on. And then I want you to come and talk to our women's group as well. Talk to us, Brian. Give us an email. How can we get in touch with you to do that?
Well, if you're on social media, the easiest way to reach me is Brian J. Small through Facebook. That comes directly to me. But if you want to email, is Brian, BRIANTB, financial, FINANCIAL @gmail.com. That's the easiest email. Just email me there. And what I'll do is I'll send you a link and we can schedule a free consultation. So I do free consultations. We talk for free. We conversate for free. And we, at that point in time, I'll tell you the process and then we'll go from there. But, you know, as many families as I can help, I would love to. I am scheduled to do a mentorship for a couple churches.
I want to talk about that in a minute. So hold on. That's going to be hot. That's what I was getting ready to bring into this segue us in right now. Okay. So hold on for me. Right. I'm excited too. Come on, Vanessa, how can they get in touch with you to come and talk to their churches about insurances, type of insurances, all that? Come on, talk to us. How do we get reach?
Yes, you can reach me at my simple email as well, vdukes. V for Vanessa, vdukes @amfam. And that's short for our company, American Family Insurance. So vdukes @amfam.com. Also, our number is 708-383-1400. And I'll put it in the chat.
708.
383.
Say that number again. Okay.
708-383-1400.
Let me tell you all something about Vanessa, and I just like Brian's spirit. Vanessa will answer you. I don't know too many brokers who is the look. She is the owner, and she answers. Do y'all hear me? Brian. Brian.
Yes, ma'am.
This finance and credit thing is so hot.
Yes, ma'am.
There has been so many negatives about people fixing your credit and all of this. But something I believe the Lord had to put in your heart to get done with not just African American people, but I'm
Mm.
just gonna believe God that your books are gonna be so filled. You're gonna have to raise
Mm.
your hand at some point and say,
Mm.
I can't help nobody else. But what I'm getting ready to do is I'm gonna mentor some people and I'm gonna send them out. Okay. And it doesn't
Praise
matter,
the Lord.
some college students, some interns, whatever you want to call it. But
I
Brian,
see
I
that.
want you to talk to us today about the mentoring program that you are starting in reference to credit and finances. Talk to us about the mentoring program that you're going to be starting and how it's going to help us to move forward, please.
Well, actually, it's more of a speaking program that I'll be doing. I actually am scheduled to do a the all girl school that's there in Chicago for pregnant moms. So I'm scheduled to do that school because being a parent early in life, you need to understand money and have literacy and financial literacy early. So one of the things that the Lord placed on my heart this year was to share as much as I can in the communities and places where we don't have knowledge, we don't have understanding. So if the calendar allows, I'll come and do a full presentation for as many as you can get in a room, and I'll do it for free. And I come and share the basics of credit, how credit works. And then at that event, I also offer a free consultation. So my platform is about fixing and helping, but it's also greatly about educating. I can remember two things growing up about credit. The first thing was when I first started out being an adult, my grandmother says you get a credit card and use it for emergency. And I'm sure most of us have heard that, right? And today, with me having education of credit, I understand that it is for emergency, but credit creates opportunity. So there's a difference between scared and impoverished. I only use this when I need to, or aggressive and use it to fund bigger things or opportunities, right? So it's just our ideology around credit. So I said all that to say that those are the type of tidbits that I give him in my presentation, and then I open it for Q&A, because the Q&A is the most important part of that. I'm going to educate you, but the questions that are going to be asked are going to free us up so much around the fear factor that's around credit. And then what I've also learned in doing credit for the last few years is that uneducated people uneducate people. I'll slow that down, right?
Slow
So
it down.
That's good.
what does that mean, right? And so, like, we only teach what we know or think we know. So if it's wrong, it's wrong, right? And so what I found is, and this is probably most common in our urban community, and I'll just put it out there, we love these things called cell phones, right? So this is common, okay? Our people would be like, hey, I'm going to get a phone, okay? And then they'll get a phone, they'll get their account, they run a credit to get it. They burn up their relationship with that company, T-Mobile, Sprint, whatever, right? Then they'll turn around and be like, hey, cuz, can you get me a phone, right? On your credit. Now here's this uneducated cousin like, oh, I'll get you a phone too. So now we have not one but two generations that are affected right away, and all he did was just like crabs in a barrel. You can't get out because I can't get out, so I'm gonna pull you back in. And now we both have bad debt. Now we're off to a bad start, and it's because we're uneducated on how it works.
Right.
And here it is. This
Right.
is my trusted cousin telling me to do this. So I walk right into a situation that's just bad. So
Right.
my job is
Exactly.
to educate us on like making smart decisions and understanding how credit works. And I've been in scenarios like that where it's just bad. I sat down with a family of six, and this entire family filed bankruptcy
I
because
was
one
just getting
person.
ready to ask you about that. Talk to us about that. About that.
Well,
Is there a good
bankruptcy.
time to do it? Is there a bad time to do it?
It depends on the circumstances and situation.
That's
Me
what I want.
myself,
Yeah.
I filed bankruptcy twice. Been married twice, divorced twice, had to file bankruptcy twice. So in that situation where it was a two incomes getting everything, it made sense. When it's one income, I can't afford it by myself, so I had to file bankruptcy. So as a time and a place, I don't shun it. But in my scenario situation and working with credit, I always teach, hey, listen, let's see if we can fix the problem first. Because you can file bankruptcy and still have the same mentality and repeat that cycle, right? Or we can get educated. I get you the tools. I help you understand how credit works, how to benefit it, how to leverage it. And now you see it as a tool versus a deficit.
Because Brian, at the end of the day, the reason why people though who are divorced file bankruptcy is because maybe and thank you, Jesus, I haven't had to do it. Maybe you were married and there was a two income household, but now there's one. How talk to that woman or that man who is now he's divorced now, doesn't have the two household incomes anymore, and so now the credit isn't. Now check this out. To my own positive, I've not missed any bill. I don't know why I ain't missed none, but I haven't missed no bills, and I haven't been 30 days late with nothing, right?
Yes,
I might be 16 days, but I've never been reported
Not
to the
30. That's good.
So talk to us just a little bit, because this is my own truth. Talk to us a little bit about how we can maintain, or what's some of the steps I can follow. What can we do?
Well, I always, you heard that old cliche saying, "Don't bite off more than you can chew." Right? So that means
what if it's already bit off though?
Or if it's already bit off.
I mean, what if they haven't bit off any extra? And I do want you to finish answering the question, but this is true. What if you not biting off more than you could chew? What if you not biting off? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am. And I think it's just, it really comes down to budgeting. And then I'm just still going to say education, right? One of the biggest things that I'm also learning is that, we avoid things, right? As people, right? And one of the first things I tell people to do when I'm start working on their credit and I look and see their situation, I need you to gather all that mail that's piled up at the front door that you're avoiding and that you haven't opened, and let's look at what's going on, because that mail is a warning. They're saying, hey,
it's in the mail.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? And so we got to go and open that mail and see what's going on. And then these companies, at the end of the day, they're a company, so they're in business to make money, right? And so I always tell people, stop avoiding communication and call them and say something. Right. And so in a lot of scenarios and situations, that's going to help get the money in order. So if you only have X amount of dollars, in my scenario, or you talking about a single mom, my mom was a single mom. I'm grateful for her and all she did in her sacrifice, but she had to manage money and figure it out too. And I say that to say, what's your priority? The house is first, the utilities is first, and then you start building out from there. But if I could just be honest, make sure you tithing first.
Okay, that's good.
Right.
That's
so
good.
give God his portion first. Okay. And then from there, you work with that 90% that's left over and you start to build it out. But I say structure what's from level of importance down to least important, and then start to look at your bank accounts. This is another exercise that a lot of us can do, because we swipe that debit card unconsciously. Okay. And you'll start to pull out that bank statement for a month, 2 months, 3 months, and you'll see why you don't have any money, because the bank statement is going to tell you the truth. You're going out too much.
Right.
You got Starbucks for breakfast, you got lunch, and you got dinner. Right. All that money, all that stuff adds up over time. And I'm sure you can relate to this, Sister Dukes, right? What we spend it on lunch or we spend it on Starbucks, you can have an insurance policy, and if something happens to you, God forbid, your family is taken care of all the time. Yes. Instead of buying a coffee at Starbucks and making them rich, you get a Keurig at home and you brew it on the way. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. But it's just like allocating what's most important and how to spend your money. So then you put the family in position to have a nest egg.
So a lot of people need to be listening to this podcast instead of being at the mall shopping. Girl, look here. I don't know who they. Michelle Miller, you telling the whole truth. Brian, you are putting meat on our brains, and yet for me, for those of us who are listening, for those of us who are in it, right? You are also, I call you the tender-hearted uncle that is not, because again, thank you, Jesus. My situation is not raggedy, right? I made sure I tightened up some stuff before I got my last house. Right. Vanessa Brown Dukes. And so now we're learning how we're going to not only leave an inheritance for our children's children, but in order to do that, that means we're going to have to stop what we're doing. Somebody say, what about having a policy with living benefits? Hold on for a second. I want you to hold that thought, because I want you to answer. But we're leaving an inheritance for our children. So I want to know how we're going to best mentor the next generation. And can you answer that? What about, of course, that living? I think that person was saying. Can we put that back up there anyway? What about having a policy with living benefits?
Yes. I have a policy. Living benefits. There are policies that will grow you.
What are you doing to kind of help
what now?
to mentor our next generation as well?
Yes, we want to guide people into um, the right futuristic uh, vehicles to get you where you need to be. I always start people out with basic term insurance because the first thing you don't want to do is over uh, get people overcompensated where they're in a policy and they're struggling. You don't want the struggle. You want the simple policy that will cover immediate death, which would be a simple term policy. In most cases, you can get an average term policy for under $40, $50 a month. The average person can get a $250,000 policy for about $35, $40 a month. Maybe, and maybe in your 40s and 50s, it may be $60 a month. But we're talking about $2 a day. And I love how he said, withdraw that cup of coffee. You know, people will pay $6, $7, $8, $9 for a cup of coffee. I've never understood that, but that's just me. Okay. But I tell them, if you can take, everybody's not going to do this, but if you can sacrifice one lunch a day or one meal a day and take $10 a day, put it into these investment policies, you will find that you will have so many living benefits, cash available. You'll have all kinds of benefits in these policies. You talk to your agent and they can tell you the different type of living benefits. You have long-term care, all that kind of stuff, different things that you can add into your policy, and you can tailor the policy to your specific needs, but you have to start somewhere. And I say it all the time. I don't mean any harm when I say this, but the richest people buy term insurance. If you hear somebody say, I got $1 million policy on such and such and such and such, I can promise you that it's not a whole life. You are not going to buy a whole life $1 million policy. No, you're not going to do it because it's unaffordable. Okay, so the richest people buy term insurance. If you get a whole life insurance, the average person is going to get a $25,000 or $50,000 whole life because whole life is so expensive. What I don't like as much about the whole life policy is that the whole life policy, you buy it at 20 years old, but at 90 years old, that $25,000 has only grown to $27,000.
Wow.
Stupid.
Okay? Just gonna call it what it is.
There are other policies out here. Now, we still have whole life products, we still have term life products, but there are other products out here that you can grow your money where your policy can start at $100,000, and at the age of 70 or 80, it's $800,000.
Wow. Vanessa, somebody's asking right now. Somebody's asking, can you? Okay. Burial insurance. Can you quickly cover that? And then y'all, you're gonna have to call her. You're gonna have to email her because we come on. Go ahead.
That's right. Real quick. Burial insurance. Yes, burial insurance. I advise everybody to get a small burial policy, but that's also included in that same term policy. Okay. You don't have to have a lot, but now to bury a person, if you don't have at least 15,000, you're underinsured. And that's a very small policy. I don't encourage that anywhere. However, we have some seniors. I wrote a lady the other day. If I call her name Angie, you would know it. 65, or no, she was 63 years old. She just got a simple burial policy and paid $39 for it.
Oh, wow.
And that's the problem.
Does that just bury her? Or what does that do?
Burial policy, just $10,000.
Does that just bury her? Okay. What does that do for her casket and all that stuff though?
It pays for the entire funeral.
Okay.
However, now the burial ground requires you to have cash up front to get that ground.
Did y'all know that?
Before you even get the burial money for the insurance. Wow. We talked about that last week. Last year, we paid $30 for the burial ground. She was a little late. But the actual burial ground is $2,500 to $3,000 before insurance money. People need to know that.
People need to know it, and they're going to know it because they're going to have to email you. They're going to have to email you. They're going to have to get you after the insurance. Right. They're going to have to do it all, Vanessa.
Your standard.
Listen to
this. Everything because needed to know.
Not a problem.
But your average term policy will cover burial. And they said, what about cremation? I am.
No, I was saying that you
Okay.
were freezing just a little bit, so I
Still
don't know if you're moving
free.
just a little bit. But we're gonna come back to cremation. But remember what you were getting ready to
No,
start.
I'm
Brian,
Yes, ma'am.
discipline. Talk about the discipline it takes to get your finances together. What types of disciplines will it take? And then Vanessa, I'm gonna flip back to you so you could talk to us about cremation. But what type of disciplines does it necessarily take, Brian, to get our finances together? Where should
Well,
we start?
in the mind, you got to make a decision that
Make
you
a
really
decision.
want it, that you want to fix it, that you really want to do it. And it starts with just making the decision. I have to, I need to fix my finances. And then I strongly recommend, if you undereducated and not educated, first of all, there's tons of tools that are available to us today. You can just Google a lot of stuff, but I literally recommend working with a coach, somebody that's going to hold you accountable, that's going to keep you on course. So one of the things I do with my clients is, the first thing I'll do is review the credit. The second thing is we'll talk about budget, and then we meet every 30 days on whatever your homework was. So if I told you, hey, you need to pay down these credit cards, we need to pay down these credit cards, or what's our strategy for that? And I told you, hey, we need to cut back here. Let's call and negotiate a payoff here. Let's see if they can give you some grace over here. Like, these are things that I help to get the discipline around mentally around, taking action versus sitting back, letting it happen to us, and then feeling bombarded, stressed, and overwhelmed. Faith without works is dead. So we got to take action. We have to get in motion. So the discipline starts in the mind, but get with somebody who's going to hold you accountable and keep you on the path to whatever your goal is, to reconciliation.
So Brian, folks want to hook up with TB.
Mm-hmm.
They want to hook up with what you're doing.
Yes,
At
ma'am.
minimum, what are they going to be? What would it cost them to kind of connect with you once a month? And can you share how people can get in touch with you again, please?
The easiest thing is if you're on Facebook, just find me on Facebook. It's Brian J. Small on Facebook. I strongly suggest just message me in the inbox. I'll send you a link to schedule a consultation, and then we'll go from there. Listen, I'm not in it to like get rich, right? Because I understand the clientele that I get from time to time is literally going to be people that are trying to dig out a hole. But what I'll tell you is that I'm very reasonable, and it's situation by situation. No credit report is the same, Pastor. And I have to be true and transparent with that. Some things are easier. Some things require a lot of time and complex attack for it. So, I can't say, but I'll say I do make everything reasonable and achievable. And we just really talk about your circumstances and situation. But my ultimate goal is for you to get out of the situation and help somebody else.
I love it. I love it. So TB Financial, Brian. I'm gonna flip it back to you, Vanessa, only because, and I'm running out of time. Lord have mercy. But I want you to share with us real quick, Vanessa, about cremation. People think cremating is the cheap way out. It's not. You still got. They still got to burn you up in order to get you in the urn. Come on here, talk to us a little bit about that, please.
Well, people turned to cremation when they. They turned to cremation when they found out they didn't have much money. So they do the GoFundMe and things like that, and they'll raise a certain amount of money so they can do at least a cremation. So with the cremation, you still can do this. So that's a good thing. That's the particular family that may not be interested in visiting the grave sites and things like that. But cremation became it came in demand. So anything that comes in demand now goes higher. Remember when cremations were only like $3,000. Right. Now I don't think you can get a cremation for under $5,000, $5,500, $6,000. It's close to a burial because it became in demand. Because everybody started doing it. Okay. So cremation is not just the answer, but it's also a way to do insurance for those who may not have as much insurance. But just dispel the myth that insurance is expensive, because there are policies now you can write on those crazy young folk. They don't even have to sign for it. You their parent, you got their social, write a policy for them. They can be insured overnight. Because some of our youngsters need that kind of insurance. We have policies that you can write. People that have pre-existing conditions, may have cancer, they may be on dialysis. We have policies for them. Now, those are the burial policies because they're not going to go any higher than $25,000. Now, you got to know an insurance company is not going to write you $100,000 policy if you're in the mode of going, So I don't know why people think they can call and say, well, what about 50,000? Well, you just decided to get a policy when you find out a person has only a certain amount of time to live. Really? Come on, touch your neighbor. You can't
That's
do that.
a little suspect.
Right. You got to watch them.
That's a little suspect, if you ask me. Listen at this. I hate to.
It really is.
This all down. We're running out of time. But listen at this. I need you all, my two guests, Brian, starting with you. Did I do the right thing by paying? Okay, somebody asked, did I do the right thing by paying for my burial, open and closing? That is. Did she do the right thing, Vanessa? Did I do?
She did the right thing.
So she did the right thing, but I'm gonna need y'all to reach out.
She did the right thing.
Yeah.
She still needs to get an insurance policy. That I closed the case.
My Lord.
She still needs to get an insurance policy. Unless there's a health issue.
Not a problem. So it's 1:57, y'all. Listen, Brian, I need you to give us your closing remarks. Okay, you got 1 minute to get it done. And then Vanessa, you're going to have, and then I'm going to come back and close the show. Go ahead. What you want to leave us with today, Brian?
Fix your credit.
Share how we can reach out to you.
Fix your credit is the way that open doors and create opportunity. If you're stressed about money, credit is going to help you get access to money. Remember, they have credit. They run your credit for everything. So like Sister Duke said, for your insurance, auto and home, right? But if you think about it, where you go to get lights, you go to get gas, you go to get a cell phone, you go to rent an apartment, you go to buy a house, everything is based on your credit score. So let's get your credit together. I'd be more than happy to help you. You can reach out to Brian J. Small on Facebook. You can email me at the email that's going across the screen right now. Either way, or you can call or contact me. But everything that they have on this slide is literally how you have access to me. I'm open book and willing to help. God bless y'all. Let's make a difference.
Thank you so much. Hang out. Of course, Vanessa, go ahead and give us your final remarks as well, and tell them how they can get in touch with you. Because I can tell you, there's someone out here right now.
Again, you can reach me.
Yeah, please.
Yes,
Bridget.
Yes. Again, you can reach me at vdukes@amfam.com, and my phone number is 708-383-1400. I have an 800 number, but I won't give that right now. But I will say, as a closing statement, please handle your business. It is not difficult. Do not run away from it. Do not have a fear. The Bible said God's not giving us a spirit of fear, but a power of love and of a sound mind. And I tell you, people of God, take care of your business. Take care of your family. Don't run from it. It's attainable, and God will bless you to get these policies, and you will be able to hold your head up when you're faced with a calamity.
Wow. Thank you all so much. Of course, this month we've been talking about with our folks minding your own business. And we could not wait, Brian, for you to show up in these OneSister2Another podcast studios.
Yeah.
Of course, thank you all so much. Thank you so much, Vanessa Brown Dukes. You guys
thank you
both
for having us.
So
thank you.
Rich. Your information has been rich. We pray that every person watching, we know we couldn't answer everything. We know we couldn't share everything, but we pray that every person that watched, every person that listened, if you've been listening all month with minding your own business has been our thing, that you are learning something. Listen at this. Please go back out on my Facebook and you're going to see some of their addresses, all that good stuff. If you need to be put in touch with Vanessa Brown Dukes, we can do it. Need to be put in touch with Brian Smalls, we can do it. We're hoping that Brian will consider doing some virtual finance classes or virtual finance meetup roundups for us, if you will, and we'll be able to come in and get some consultations with him, talk to him about some things that's going on with you all and all of us. Come on, at this time after post-pandemic, if you will. Listen at this. If you need to get us, OneSister2Another, to come to your church, host an event, or just show up and do the show live on location, all you need to do is email Tamara Woodard. She's in the studio holding it down right now. ONESISTER, the number 2ANOTHERPR@gmail.com. Thank you to my staff. Of course, Trailer Law, Jakari, Maite is not with us today. My co-host, we love her, Maite Johnson. Also, Big J makes this thing do what it do. He make it look like we know what we're doing. Tamara Woodard, of course, I just mentioned her earlier. I appreciate you all, and we're gonna see you next week. Can I give y'all my final?
Yes.
Today is a gift from God. What you do today is your gift right back to Him. We'll talk to you next week.
All right.